Thanks for riding with me today. We're in downtown South Bend, Indiana, coming up to Angela Boulevard and Michigan Street here on a beautiful day to go driving. We're going to cruise around for a few hours with Lyft and Uber on. We're driving a Honda Odyssey minivan, so we can do XL and pet rides and all sorts of fun stuff. So let's see who we can help get around town today. And first up, as we get under the bridge and into the city, is a quick ride from the hospital to take a worker home. I do quite a few pickups at this hospital, as well as drop-offs for both patients and workers. This is a very large campus, and people come here for all sorts of different treatments and things, as well as emergency services. So it's definitely a spot that I'm at quite often when I'm downtown here.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you have a good weekend.
You too.
I don't really have any agenda as to where I go next after I drop off a ride typically, but when I'm over in this side of town and nothing's really jumping off on the apps, I figure I might as well head north and get up towards the airport. As you'll see here, we'll get booked on another ride before we get anywhere near the airport, but over in this side of town, there's not much else going on, so might as well kind of jog up north a little bit where I know there's a little more action. There's a few more shopping areas and stores and places where people are moving around up over here. So we'll cruise on up the west side of the city, and this is Portage Avenue here, heading on up towards South Bend International Airport. Up here on the right is a McDonald's that I like to stop at to use the restroom and to grab a coffee, but of course, as soon as I pulled in to the parking lot, I got another ride just up the road. Do you have Meijer grocery stores where you're watching this from? If you're not familiar with them, they're kind of a huge grocery store, sort of like a Target. You can get clothes and stuff for the house there, and they're very, very popular here in the Midwest and Great Lakes region.
Hey, Chris. I'm doing great. How about you? This one charges stuff up something along with.
One of the more frustrating things about driving around here is when you get onto Notre Dame's campus like this, you cannot get through certain gates. And typically, in my experience, if somebody is booking a ride to a destination just inside one of those gates, they'll have a swipe card to get through the gate with them. But in this case, this gentleman was new to working here and he didn't have that card yet. So he just had to go around a few extra blocks and find a gate that had an attendant. And they, of course, let you right in once you let them know what you're up to.
Good luck with everything. Yep, stay safe out here. You too.
That was fairly easy, but could have been a little bit faster if I had known in advance that we weren't going to be able to get that gate. I was actually over here in this exact same part of the campus a couple hours before this with somebody who did have a swipe card. So I knew specifically that that gate was closed. And of course, whenever you drop somebody off on campus, you almost never get another ride from the campus, and it feels like it takes forever to get back off campus to get to your next ride. But you just got to make the best of it, because especially around the campuses, there are a ton of pedestrians. So you just got to go slow and take your time and be extra careful, and especially on a day like this where it is really wet and slippery outside. For anybody who hasn't driven for a rideshare app before, you should know that after every single ride, we get a score based on not only our speed, but how hard we brake, how hard we accelerate, how hard we turn, all sorts of different things that are taken from the sensors on your phone, actually, all sorts of data that they judge you on, and they give you a score, and that gets reported to your insurance. So we really do have to follow the speed limits.
Very good. How about you? Oh, yeah. Stay warm. I will. Thanks so much.
Now, this was a little bit of an interesting one. This gentleman was super nice, but he told me to do this very unusual turnaround in his driveway. It looked like you could just go on further and turn around properly up ahead, but he said to make this very unusual turnaround you see me doing here. And then he said we were going to where his car was being repaired and asked if I could drive him back for cash, which I told him I couldn't do, but I would be happy to take him on the app if he wanted to change it in the app so it was a return ride as well and have me wait, but he didn't seem interested in that. And then when we arrived at the place, which I was expecting to be a little bit more of a, commercial auto shop that I'm typically taking people to, it was somebody doing auto repair from home, and it looked like they had a proper shop set up and all, but they didn't really have much of a driveway, so had to drive through a little bit of mud to get this one done. But that's the way it goes on a rainy day in South Bend. You're definitely not going to keep the car clean. This next rider did book a stop along the way on their trip, and you'll see we take a quick pause to pick up a car battery at AutoZone. This young gentleman was working on his car and needed to grab a new battery.
Trey? I go there. Good. Cool. Got to stop along the way at the AutoZone? Yeah, I got your battery. AutoZone. Cheers. Is good? That's good. I will be here waiting for you. Thank you. Yep. All good? Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Anyhow, so.
That Burger King is another good spot to pull in real quick for a restroom because it's right inside the door there at the back of the building. And the drive-thru at that particular Burger King is pretty quick if you're just looking to get a coffee or a quick drink. You've probably noticed I'm only showing the earnings on some of these rides, and that's mostly because I was out driving for a few hours before this video started recording, and trying to figure out which ride is which, especially on Uber after the fact, is actually trickier than I expected. So I'm just going to do better in the future to take screenshots after each ride as I go. But stick around to the end of this video and I will show you the total earnings for the day on this particular day.
Sorry? I'm doing all right. It's ready out. Oh, so we got stuff at the marathon? Yeah. Like, he literally just had a guy like come one day and like walk through. He like, what was that? People with skills on. That's awesome. Nice talking to you. You guys have a good night. Have a good night at work. All right, man. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I'm about to. You put the sheet up? Yeah. Sorry, cool. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to get the man how many leads anything hurt. Oh, I got it. You good? North Brookfield Street? Yeah. All right, cool. The strong charges and mental stuff up, so anything you need along, but I can make it. Yeah.
At this point, it was getting towards the part of the day where the airport was starting to look really busy, and there was also a surge on, which I'll give you a little tip. Never drive towards a surge zone. It will never be there when you get there, and this is a great example. I think when I set off towards the airport, the surge was plus $4 and something per ride on the Uber app, and by the time I got there, And the way you do it is you drive to a location on the map that they've marked with a pin, and once you get to that location, the bonus is added to your account for the next ride you accept. So by the time I get all the way over to the airport here and hit that pin, I get a bonus of $1. So like I said, don't ever drive towards a bonus zone. They're never worth it. Just keep doing what you're doing while you're out there. And here's where I get the pin. It's dropped here right around the backside of the airport. That's one of the parking lots for the terminal just on my right here. So I just grabbed that bonus and then took a moment to regroup, and I'll get back out of the airport complex. I don't sit in the queue unless it's a very unique situation. I've never found that to be a good way to get rides around here anyway. And as usual, as soon as I leave the airport complex, I get a pretty decent ride that's worth driving a few minutes to go pick up, and then we're heading back across Cleveland Road towards Mishawaka from the South Bend Airport area.
Yeah, Christopher? Oh, I'm great, man. How are you? I'm pretty good.
On this one, we're heading over to the Castle Point Apartments, which I think I was at earlier in the day this day. And then we got really lucky and picked up a ride leaving the Castle Point Apartments. And it's a really large apartment complex. You'll see it's absolutely huge. The roads are in terrible condition in this complex. They've got massive speed bumps and huge potholes alternating throughout the complex, and it's very challenging, but one of the more popular places I pick up and drop off working people. A lot of folks are coming and going from jobs typically when I take them to this complex. So here we go into Castle Point, and the main road going through here is called the Royal Carriage Way. All of the other roads have equally ridiculous sounding names. So that's one done, and we just got to pop over here and find our second person. And this one was a little bit awkward because where the parking lot is for their unit was showing me still like a minute or so away from their location. It wanted me to go out onto this main road here where there's nowhere to stop to collect them. So I went into the parking lot here and then just called them and let them know that I was downstairs, and they were able to pop out really quickly, and we got on our way. But yeah, sometimes the GPS isn't very accurate, especially in complexes like this, and also in rural areas, which we have plenty of around here.
Hey, how you doing? Doing all right. Sorry about that. No problem. Otherwise, showing like I'm still not next to you.
And you've just got to kind of use whatever context clues you can find around the area and some common sense, and reach out to the folks you're looking for and try to find them instead of relying on the app to really bring you exactly to where you need to be every time, because it just isn't that accurate.
Feel free to meet that. Absolutely. It's all over. How you doing, Mr. Issa? I'm good. Just a blue warning there?
Yeah, that one will be
Hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks. Thanks for riding with me. That's a mine? Perfect.
Hi.
How are you today? Just here? Okay. There you go. Hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, it's starting to get kind of late into the day, and I've been out for quite a while. So this next one's a little further than I would normally go to pick up such a short ride, but it's headed back towards where I'm going to finish my day. So it was a worthwhile trip and a nice one to be able to drive all the way back towards home, kind of on the clock. With Lyft, they factor in the distance that it takes for you to get to pick up the passenger. So when you're in a small town like I live in and there aren't many other drivers around. They offer those rides to people as far away as you see me here. And occasionally it works out really well for me as a last ride of the day to be able to take one close to home. I think the sheriff was actually here on official business, not buying donuts, because they left empty-handed. And it sure looks like somebody drove into their patio fence recently. This is a pretty new Dunkin' location, so hopefully nobody got hurt when that went down.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy your day off. Thanks. Oh my God, thanks. Cheers.
So that's it for my Friday this week, and you can see the total there for the day was just $106.71, and honestly, it felt like a grind. And I think that was really my fault. I had planned to go out early, but I didn't go out early enough and kind of started in the dead part of the day, which results in having to burn a lot more distance between the fewer rides that are available. Some days I go out with specific goals. On this day, I was just kind of out for a few hours just to see what was happening, and I didn't make the most of it. So I'll definitely go out with some specific goals in mind in the next few days and see how it compares, but this was definitely a very slow start. As I'm finishing editing this video today, I went and got the van washed and cleaned up and all ready for another week. So I'll definitely be out driving more folks around this week, and I'll have more to share with you here soon. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to talking to you in the comments here. If you have any questions, feel free. And again, thanks for riding with me today.